Welcome to Breaking News. I'm Miley and bring for you latest news on today. President Donald Trump has ordered an additional 5,200 troops to harden the U.S.-Mexico border before the so-called caravan of migrants from Central America seeking asylum and a new life in the U.S. arrives. The group of about 4,000 migrants from mostly Honduras and Guatemala is currently 1,000 miles and weeks away from the U.S. border. Senior officials on the Pentagon and Customs and Border Protection told reporters on Monday that 800 service members are already headed to Texas, with the remaining 4,400 arriving over the coming days. The forces deployed as part of Operation Faithful Patriot will include military police, pilots, and engineers and will be in the area from November 5th to December 15th. The goal is to harden our ports of entry in California, Arizona, and Texas, Customs and Border Protection Chief Kevin McAleenan said. That would increase the number of U.S. military personnel at southern frontier to roughly 7,000, about 5,000 more than America has in Syria to fight ISIS, and approximately one-third the size of the entire border patrol force at the U.S.-Mexico line. The problem for Trump, though, is that the military won't actually be able to participate in detaining or deporting any of the migrants the way the president likely wants. That's because U.S. law forbids them from physically detaining individuals at the border. So while the troops at the border will be armed, they will only legally be able to assist U.S. border officials by doing things like helping transport border agents and providing emergency medical care to those who need it. The armed forces can also work in reinforced infrastructure around the border, like putting additional razor wire on border fences. In other words, while it may be intended to look as if the U.S. is preparing for a massive invasion of immigrants at the southern border, the reality is that it's mostly just sending backup logistical support to help border agents address the arrival of a few thousand migrants, around half of whom are girls and women, who have been traveling by foot for weeks over. Still, Trump is clearly hoping that the military deployment will prove a deterrent to the caravan headed northward. This is an invasion of our country and our military is waiting for you, he tweeted on Monday morning. Here is a short guide on what the military can and can't do at the border. Homeland Security Secretary Kristen Nielsen gave a good summary of what U.S. troops are authorized to do. What we've asked them to do is help to bolster our capabilities, she told Fox News last Thursday. We've asked for some air support, for some logistics, some planning, vehicle barriers, engineering, ways in which we can make sure that I can protect my officials and agents, as well as the ports of entry themselves. General Terrence J. O'Shaughnessy, the head of U.S. Northern Command, told reporters on Monday what that assistance might look like. The militaries will send 3 helicopter companies with night vision capabilities to help border patrol officials to reach remote locations quickly, 4 airplanes to transport border patrol agents as needed, deployable medical units to care for anyone that may need attention, 22 miles of concertina wire to reinforce fencing along the border. While troops will be armed, they can only support border patrol agents, not detain anyone. More on that below. Michael Fisher, the U.S. Border Patrol Chief from 2005 to 2010, gave me one more example of how the partnership will work. Some troops will join entry identification teams, which help to spot immigrants as they cross the border. The military would be somewhere along the border, typically in an elevated location, providing eyes and ears for border patrol agents, Fisher said. is the people who may be crossing at an unofficial port of entry that the U.S. border agents and their U.S. military partners will likely be on the lookout for. Border agents will be in close proximity to the U.S. troops, but will leave on their own to arrest the spotted migrants. The military won't be involved in actually detaining any individuals. The military's main impact, though, may actually be in their logistical assistance. The National Guard has operated in the U.S.-Mexico border area since 1990s, and much of what it does is build and repair infrastructure like roads and the border fence. The military's ability to help transport Border Patrol officials around the area in planes and helicopters is also highly valuable, as border enforcement officials don't have all the necessary equipment. The military can also provide temporary housing and protective gear for agents. The U.S. military is barred from using its capabilities directly to enforce U.S. domestic laws, including immigration laws, unless Congress specifically authorizes to do so. This measure, known as Posis Comitatus, is why U.S. troops can only support U.S. border agents but not take direct action themselves. O'Shaughnessy on Monday said the military will conduct all of this operation at the border in adherence to Posis Comitatus. The Pentagon will foot the bill for the deployment. It's unclear how much it will cost, but so far, the military paid $185 million to send 2,000 National Guard troops to the border earlier this year. Trump's decision is a missive of active duty military. Gil Calico-Scare, a former Customs and Border Protection chief, told the Washington Post on Monday, "To say this isn't a political stunt is misleading the public." And this story appears in breaking news, a news from us on the latest tweets, and turns around Trump is sending 5,000 troops to the border. Subscribe and follow us along with more about Trump administration policy. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the duration of today's program. Thank you for watching.